Hello, and thank you for joining us for this presentation on the A3102 Safer Road Scheme. With me today are David Thomas, Head of Highways Asset Management, and Steve Wilson, Head of Major Highways Projects, who will both tell us more about the scheme. Over to you, Dave.
Thank you, David. So the first slide on screen gives you a brief introduction to the A3102 Safer Roads Fund. So the Department for Transport's Safer Roads Fund was set up to support safety improvements at 50 highest risk local A road sections in England. A lot of the methodology and work was done by the Road Safety Foundation following what's known as IRAP protocols. This follows the Vision Zero strategy, which accepts that whilst collisions and accidents will happen, the work that we undertake seeks to eliminate fatalities and lessen the severity of injuries that take place on the network. 2023 saw £47.5 million invested nationally into the programme, and that has predicted a reduction in 760 fatal and serious injuries over the next 20 years. The A3102 was identified as a non-major road network road which had a high number of fatal and serious crashes. So we at Wiltshire Council have been allocated £6.9 million to undertake works along the length of 3102, and works have started in December 2023 with completion estimated in 2026. To manage the delivery of the Safer Roads schemes, the interventions or collections of countermeasures were split up into sites along the whole length of the 3102. The map in front of you shows the full extent of the works that we're going to be undertaken. To enable the delivery of these sites, they were organised into some main categories. These are minor sites, intermediate sites, signal crossing sites, and major sites, and the colours of the circles on the map show the differences. This map shows the site references for those sites. These include 27 intermediate sites, 4 signal crossing sites, 4 major sites. In total, there are 35 sites along the route. To date, we have completed the first phase of the minor sites. This includes removing vegetation at side road junctions where visibility for vehicles is affected, and along the 3102 verge where vegetation blocks the visibility ahead, typically on the inside of bends in the road. Whilst these works have been complete, there will be an opportunity to review these areas for further clearance following the conclusion of the bird nesting season later in the year. This autumn, work shall commence on the intermediate sites. This includes a range of countermeasures from more traditional signs and road markings to vehicle or pedestrian barrier, road widening, and active travel improvements. A full summary of these works is listed on the Wiltshire Council website. Some examples of this include the use of vehicle-activated solar signs and improved road markings at Wands Corner Junction at Site 24. We'll also be removing a traffic island to create a right turn area into the BP filling station at Royal Wootton Bassett at Site number 6. A couple of further examples show the widening of the carriageway at Vaston Wharf South to enable a right turn lane, similar to the access into the Wiltshire Golf Club and Hotel at site number 10, and the implementation of a road barrier, new road markings, and vehicle-activated solar warning signs at Sandridge Hill, Melksham, which is site number 30. There are 4 existing crossing locations along the A3102 which were highlighted as having aging signal equipment and will no longer comply with the relevant standards. As such, they've been identified for improvement and upgrade as part of these works. So the sites are at Carn Road, Lynham, Silver Street, Carn, Union Street at Melksham, and Lowbourne Road in Melksham. I'll now hand over to Steve, who will take you through the major sites.
Thank you, David. As David has alluded to, as part of the total list of sites along the A3102, there are 4 locations which we are badging as major sites. Site number 3, 17 and 25 were assessed through the Road Safety Foundation methodology, and that's where there was the highest propensity for serious and fatal injuries. In addition to these 3 sites, we believe a 4th site, site 26, would also benefit from intervention. At all 4 locations, we have now undertaken optioneering work and feasibility studies. We believe that interventions can come forward, although some of the sites are quite constrained, and we are now proceeding into the detailed design phase. We are hopeful that we will have works on the ground at some of these site locations in spring 2025. Looking at the 4 sites in a little bit more detail, we have some aerial imagery here and some Google Maps images of the junctions themselves. The first site, site number 3 at Stoneover Lane at Royal Wootton Bassett. This site, the risk of fatal and serious injuries really comes from the conflict of turning vehicles into and out of the junction, and where those relatively slow moving vehicles are conflicting with high speed traffic along the A3102. Next slide, please. The interventions we're looking towards at Site 3 involve the installation of traffic signal controls. So all 3 arms of the junction would be controlled by traffic signals that controls those turning movements and effectively reduces the risk of those head-on collisions. Site 17, which is Stania Road in Carn, is a similar situation. We have uncontrolled traffic turning into and out of a T junction. We also, to the west of the junction, have a pedestrian and cycle crossing facility, and that is in close proximity to the junction, and we have that conflict between pedestrian movements and drivers wanting to make turning manoeuvres in close proximity to the pedestrian crossing. The interventions at this location also involve a traffic signal system being installed. But in this situation, we will be looking to rationalise the junction arrangements by bringing that pedestrian and cycle crossing facility into the junction itself. So we have effectively a combined traffic control system and pedestrian crossing arrangement. We will also be looking to formalise the pedestrian footway along the northern side of the junction. Site 25 is one of the 2 junctions between the A342 and the A3102. Again, traffic at the moment makes priority turning arrangements, so we have movements in and out of this junction happening in an uncontrolled manner. This junction is quite constrained, and therefore the opportunity for us to make any substantial changes are limited. The proposals we have and what we anticipate coming forward, however, do involve widening the A3102 carriageway to allow for the introduction of a dedicated right turn lane. Unfortunately, we're not able to traffic signal control this junction due to the constraints, but we will also be looking to provide a safe crossing facility for pedestrians at this location and to encourage pedestrians to cross at the safest point that we can. Site number 26 is the southern junction of the A342 with the A3102. This is the junction which is very close to the VMP Collins Farm shop. That access point is very much a non-standard arrangement, and we have the conflict of vehicles turning in and out of the T-junction with vehicles trying to access and egress from the farm shop itself. The proposals at this location include for a roundabout arrangement. So we will be looking to introduce a roundabout within the highway constraints, and that would be a 4-arm roundabout configuration, with the 4th arm being that access into the farm shop. This will allow for a greater degree of ease of movement and therefore reducing the likelihood of those right turn head-on collisions which lead to the serious and potential fatalities. Thank you. I'm now going to pass over to David just to summarise.
Thank you very much, both. So if you'd like more information about the scheme, please see our website. The website offers lots more information about the scheme background. It's got all the maps of the improvement locations that you've seen today. There's information about white line and signage changes. There's a list of all the 35 sites, a description of the anticipated works and a timeline, plus there's FAQs. And if you do have any questions, you can also contact us using the email address on screen. Thank you very much.